Thank you, and we want to get straight to the Jacksboro Superintendent. Can you please tell us what your name is?
My name is Brad Burnett.
Brad, can you tell us about the schools that took a hit from a tornado and whether there were injuries and what happened?
Well, I'm happy to report there were no injuries of students or staff or parents that were on our campuses. We did sustain some substantial damage to our elementary school and to our high school. The roof of the gymnasiums at both campuses was completely taken off. There were some walls that did cave in, but fortunately we have storm shelters at both campuses that are fully enclosed, concrete walls, top, bottom, and sides. And so we had all of our students, staff, and parents that were on the campuses in those storm shelters when the tornado hit. So very fortunate to say that we no injuries that I'm aware of from the school's point of view.
Yeah, Mr. Burnett, that nothing says more than what you said just there. We're so glad to hear that the kids are okay. I know Jacksboro Elementary has a little over 500 students. Can you give us an idea of how many students were still in the building when you had to hunker down? And where in relation to the gym did those students go to safety?
The storm shelters are located in the central part of the elementary, and then we have solid roll-down doors that close that in completely to keep debris from flying around. So I'm going to estimate there were probably around 300 to 350 students that were still on campus, including all of our bus students, bus riders, and students that are picked up from school. We did have some parents come early and pick up kids and parents that were waiting in line before we were notified by emergency management that there was a tornado on the ground. We allowed those parents to go ahead and pick their kids up and seek shelter out away from our campuses. So I'm going to say probably around 350 students and staff were sheltered at the elementary campus, probably around 50 to 75 at our high school campus. We went ahead and dismissed our high school students early so that we could get them out of the parking lots and home, well before the storm was scheduled to hit the community.
Mr. Burnett, before we wrap up here and we toss it back to Pete, who is continuing to track severe weather, can you tell us about the importance of being prepared for a day like today from a school perspective?
Oh, it's critical. I'm just so very thankful. My campus principals responded immediately as soon as I communicated to them that we had a severe weather event pending. Our county emergency management did a great job communicating with me, advising us to hold our buses, to not put them out on routes until the storm had passed. Our Jacksboro Chief of Police, Scott Haynes, was on site with me at our administration office monitoring the storm, and we were able to monitor radio traffic. And when we heard that there was rotation spotted and damage being observed south of Highway 380, that's when I immediately notified all of our campuses to shelter, to get in their storm shelters. And so we had at least, I'm going to say 10 minutes advance notice before we sustained any damage. So just good communication and planning. And we're just blessed and thankful that no students or staff were injured. Again, I can't speak for our community. There's substantial damage on the west side of Jacksboro. And so, I'm just praying that, there's no other injuries in our community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Burnett. It is why tracking these storms is so important. That 10 minutes of warning can make all the difference. Just real quick before we go, I assume because the structural engineers have to get in there and take a look at these buildings, no school for any of the kids tomorrow?
Definitely not tomorrow. I have a hard time seeing us having class this week until we get all this damage cleaned up. It's substantial at at our elementary campus. There were a lot of vehicles in the parking lot at the elementary that sustained damage. A lot of cars turned over. So it's going to take a while for us to assess the damage, make sure the buildings are safe to occupy, and we'll get a plan together as soon as we can. But I've had a lot of school superintendents and people all around the state that have offered assistance. So we're going to have plenty of help, and we can replace buildings. We can't replace lives.
Amen to that. Mr. Burnett, great work today. God bless you all. Now let's get back to Pete.